We did the restaurant and food inspections.
There aren't any gross pictures in here, so well, not that bad.
So there's our team. Who's our consultants? Nate and Marcus.
We're like lifesavers.
Over to fix our problems.
Our team was much smaller than everyone else's.
That's our excuse. We only had 2 people, so we had to pull in outside help.
Consultants.
Yep.
Yes.
So.
We could have got much more fun with this. But.
So our problem is there's no way to view this data, or at least no convenient way.
Like for example,
is there anywhere that we can view it?
No. Yes.
No way to see these things other than the paper publishes weekly, I think, a list of some new ones.
Lincoln does.
Lincoln I thought Omaha did.
I know in like.
I thought Jamie was showing us something.
I know in like California they actually have an A, like, health
Yep.
inspection kind of thing. We don't have any kind of transparency like that at all. So
it's very hard to find anywhere here. Next. So our solution, our intended solution anyway, was to have a big map with all these little data points that would be different colors based on whether they have. Actually, the green wouldn't make sense because we don't have good things.
No, we do. We have points on it. It has every point on there. It just.
Oh, there are some with zeros.
Yeah, it has zeros.
Zero.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those would
It's
be
been a
green.
long day.
And,
I have green points for things with no violations whatsoever, yellow if they've only got non-critical ones, and red if they've got critical, and I have no idea how those differ, but critical is obviously worse than non-critical. And then have the ability to search by name, find a restaurant much more easily than going through the map, finding it on there and clicking. And our plan, which we got nowhere near, was to also pull in reviews from various third parties to be able to see if this place that looks like it's probably deadly to go eat at has all kinds of great reviews, if it's the best place ever. See if they don't match up at all. See how many cockroaches are mentioned in the reviews. So demo. Go to Chrome first.
Yep. All right. So in Chrome, this is an example of using geolocation. So we have it locate via geolocation. We already obviously cleared the permission. So this is where we are, and these are all the points that were in our CSV file. So and they're already mapped. Do you want to click on one of them?
That one, right by 80. Yep.
Yeah.
I like that one. I have no idea why a storage place counts.
Yeah, it literally has everything.
Food at the counter?
So, but they had 5 non-critical violations. So there's that. If you want to go to Safari, it's going to show, this is what happens when geolocation isn't supported. It's going to take them down to downtown Omaha. That was a kind of a solution we made up right now. If you want to click this one right here, that one has 90 critical issues and 50 non-critical issues.
Over 3 years?
Over 3 years. So, not sure how that happened, but we thought we'd point that out. Actually, do we want to test the search?
Yeah.
You can put,
Go to Subway. We know there's one in there.
It should be in there anyway. We have a lot of technical issues with this, so it takes a long time for this to even load anything. So that's why we already had it up on the screen. But as you can see, it's frozen Safari right now. But this, we're planning to make this better, not use synchronous requests. So, and that Subway has 3 critical issues and 4 non-critical issues. So.
What is it written? Let's see if Stokes
it's in JavaScript, jQuery, and in the back, and we're using CartoDB right now.
Which is in a couple
and then
that's fine.
Yeah.
So Cargo.
So Stokes has 105 non-critical issues and 42 critical issues. So
stop showing us data.
Now, can you like click on, or is your whole goal to like be able to? I'm sorry, I'm only asking.
no, go ahead.
Can you click on critical issues, or can I say like dirty bathroom, or
we didn't actually have a dictionary for that stuff. We don't
have a list of the violations.
Now, I assume that information is You could put it in there, but it is, I mean, the
Right.
violation has some
I
type of
assume it's
category.
somewhere, we just didn't have it.
We don't
so,
have it.
yeah. And there's also different categories of types of inspections too, and we don't have that, we didn't have that
What's the reason
information
that
either.
we don't have the violation data? What the
I
actual
don't
work
really have things on paper.
It's just on paper. Makes it very hard to digitize this
So
800 file.
I should also add a little disclaimer here. Critical and non-critical can mean a lot of different things. I was just telling Mike because he was horrified. That critical, like even critical is you've got dust above the hood, on your stove
Right.
up there. So take this with a giant grain of salt.
Sure.
And until we have that actual list of data, we have no idea.
But it does make you say, hey, can I get the copies of what happened at Stove's?
Yeah, if you're really concerned, if you want to go back to the PowerPoint.
Is this, you said this is 3 years compiled?
This is 3 years compiled, yeah.
We all feel better
Was
about
part of the
going in.
problem behind this not being able to get the data is because the system for collecting the data is antiquated?
No,
Or do you
No.
know?
that was got ahead of time by one of those two.
Yeah, it was more of like working with the data and actually getting
Yeah.
the data in a usable format, essentially. So it was in a CSV, but we were having issues getting it into a database for a long time and presenting it to. So, if you want to advance.
Our challenges, escaping things, it's always a problem.
Yeah, it was a very big challenge for both of us.
A huge issue is that the database that we are using, third-party one, you pass it an actual SQL query, just as is. And in some cases it works great, in some cases you have to escape things, in some cases you don't. So it was pretty much hit or miss, start clicking things and see if it works. As we mentioned, we don't have a data dictionary. There's some stuff that we don't have displayed yet, like inspection type. It goes from 1 to, I think I've seen number 16.
Yeah, we also had also had different inspection dates too. So like certain locations had like 10 inspections over the last 3 years. We basically combined those, so those aren't like all in one, setting where they found all those issues.
But we don't know anything about what those are without knowing
Right,
what
exactly.
these numbers mean.
But our plan was also to list those inspection dates as well. So.
And as we mentioned, getting it in the database was an issue.
We also had issues with the data in terms of food trucks and like mobile, things that have food in them that get inspected.
There's something in Vermilion, Nebraska.
And Council Bluffs, Nebraska, and yeah, it was bad data, like it wasn't properly in there.
That was probably my fault.
It's all Matt's fault, blame him.
We did blame him, so. But yeah, that's that. You want to go next? So yeah, we used HP Cloud to host. We actually had 2 cloud accounts, and we were GitHubbing it between the 2. Used CartoDB, and we used Leaflet for the mapping. So we originally tried to use Google Maps, and I about threw my computer across the room, just because it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. So if you want to go to the next one, we want to remove why is there that?
We would like to point out that Marcus helped us finish the presentation, so blame him for the cockroaches on the sandwich.
Yeah.
And the
He was just
horse.
sitting there making this whole thing for us because we didn't have any time for this. Indeed. So we want to get rid of CartoDB. We want to use PostgreSQL and PostGIS to actually make the data actually very quick to retrieve. Enable full text searching. Maybe some other metadata if we can get that data.
And a much better search than for names.
And obviously, integrate like Yelp and a couple other like third-party services so that you could see like, oh, this has 40 critical violations, but yet 4.5 on Yelp. Maybe it's not that bad, or whatever the case may be.
We would also like the additional data that we don't have.
Right. We will.
As I'm sure everyone else would for data they didn't.
So if it's 40 counts of dust on the, above the oven, then I'm not going to really worry about it. So.
That's totally what all those were.
It probably was, yeah.
Every single
or
one.
cockroaches, one of the 2.
Nope.
So, next slide. And that's it.
Yes.
What's the biggest offender? What's the worst restaurant?
We haven't looked.
We didn't actually look. We were too annoyed at
just trying to
everything
get it
else.
working.
So,
A top 10 or a bottom 10 would be
that would be a great, yeah, because it's built for the entire state. So this is data for the entire state for 3 years.
Some other stuff we had planned was we've got the parent company for cases where there is a parent company, like there's many subways in Omaha and they're owned by maybe a dozen different parent companies. Be able to click on the parent company and see how all of their restaurants rate. See if it's a problem throughout the entire company, or if it's
like
just this one
location.
business is not doing
So that frequency over time, you know, somebody hires a bad employee, you get a lot of violations because of them, they fire them, it's kind of a one-time blip, but it causes a lot of violations.
Sure.
What about the legalities of it too? A lot of times when you have those kinds of things reported, you can appeal them, they can be expunged. Sometimes, I'm not sure about in this or not, but after a period of years, it gets expunged from the public record. Is that anything that you take into consideration? Is that something you're possibly liable for? Okay.
Right now, we've just worked with what we have
We
for data
we
and
just
tried to make it
interpret
visible.
and visualize the data as how we have it. So.
What else did we have planned?
We had the green, yellow, and red, but I guess I would like to know what the critical issues are. I would like to know what the violations were, because if it's a lot of just dust, then that's not worth saying it's critical. Even if it's labeled critical on the sheet, you know, when you give that to the public's eyes, they're just gonna be like, oh God, you know, this place is terrible. You know, like, so.
What was the actual data source, Matt? Was it
Nebraska Department of Agriculture, they're three-year, just kind of appending it for 3 years. So I got an update, something that I got last year.
okay?
Worked with a very nice lady named Pam. Very, seriously, from request to actually getting it is like a day. She's amazing. Okay. Love her. Any other questions for these guys?